In the heart of a dense forest, where the whispers of the trees tell tales of ancient times, a young wolf roamed with the grace and curiosity inherent to its kind. Life in the wild was a blend of freedom and peril, with each day presenting challenges that honed the instincts of these majestic creatures. This particular wolf, with its sleek fur and piercing eyes, had always been cautious, yet the lure of sustenance often led it to the fringes of its territory. One fateful day, driven by an insatiable hunger, the wolf ventured closer to the edge of the forest than ever before. The scent of potential prey wafted through the air, mingling with unfamiliar odors that hinted at human activity. Unbeknownst to the wolf, a construction site lay ahead of Scar on the landscape where trees once stood tall. As it treaded cautiously, the ground beneath gave way, leading it to plunge into a concealed water-filled pit. The icy embrace of the water was a shock, and the wolf's initial attempts to claw its way out proved futile. The walls were steep, and the more it struggled, the more energy it expended. Hours turned into days, and the once vibrant creature found itself on the brink of exhaustion, its howls for help swallowed by the vast emptiness around. On the second day of the wolf's ordeal, the distant hum of machinery signaled the return of workers to the site. Among them were two men, seasoned by years of labor, yet softened by innate compassion. As they approached the area, faint, desperate sounds reached their ears. Following the cries, they discovered the distressed animal struggling in the water. Moved by empathy, they sprang into action. Retrieving a sturdy rope, they fashioned a makeshift lasso and, with careful coordination, lowered it into the pit, managing to loop it around the wolf's body. Combining their strength, they heaved the exhausted creature out of its watery trap, bringing it safely to solid ground. The wolf lay motionless, sides heaving, eyes reflecting a mix of fear and relief. Recognizing the fragility of the life before them, the men knew their timely intervention had saved the wolf from an imminent fate. One of the workers, a man named Elias, felt an inexplicable connection to the creature. Memories of his childhood, filled with tales of wolves and wilderness, flooded his mind. Despite understanding the wild nature of the animal, he couldn't bear the thought of leaving it vulnerable. With a gentle touch, he covered the wolf with his jacket, providing warmth against the biting cold. Transporting it to his modest home at the forest's edge, Elias prepared a space in his barn, laying down soft blankets and setting out bowls of water and scraps of meat. The wolf, though weak, remained alert, its eyes following every movement with a mix of caution and curiosity. The initial days were a delicate dance of boundaries and intentions. Elias approached the barn with measured steps, speaking in soothing tones, offering food and water. The wolf, driven by hunger, accepted the sustenance but kept a wary distance. Nights were filled with the sounds of the forest, and Elias often found himself sitting by the barn, sharing the silence with his enigmatic guest. Over time, the wolf's demeanor shifted. The once tense muscles relaxed, and its eyes softened. It began to associate Elias's presence with safety and nourishment. The barriers of mistrust slowly crumbled, replaced by a budding bond that transcended the divide between man and beast. A few months later, James, now neatly shaved and wearing a suit, walks into an office for a job interview. He is nervous, but hopeful. The hiring manager looks at his resume, frowning. "Recruiter, I see a gap in your resume. Can you explain?" James, taking a deep breath. "I've struggled, but I've worked hard to rebuild my life. I know what it's like to struggle to survive, and I also know the value of perseverance and gratitude. If I'm given the chance, I won't let you down." With Sarah's help and his own determination, James finally found a job. It wasn't an easy road, but step by step, he got his life back. As seasons changed, so did the dynamics of the relationship. Shadow had become an integral part of Elias's family, yet the call of the wild echoed in the distance. There were nights when Shadow would stand at the edge of the forest, ears perked, listening to the howls of distant packs. Elias observed this, understanding the internal conflict within his lupin friend. He knew that true freedom for Shadow meant returning to its natural habitat, but the bond they had forged made the thought of separation bittersweet. One crisp morning, Elias made a decision. He opened the gate to the forest, giving Shadow the choice to return to the wild. With a heavy heart, he watched as Shadow step beyond the threshold. Pausing to look back, their eyes locking in a moment of understanding. Days passed, and Shadow's absence was palpable. The forest seemed quieter, and the void left behind was profound. Yet, just as Elias began to accept that Shadow had returned to its origins, a familiar silhouette appeared at the forest's edge. Shadow had chosen to come back, not out of necessity, but out of affection and loyalty. Shadow's story became a testament to the transformative power of compassion. The villagers, initially skeptical of harboring a wild predator, witnessed the profound bond between Elias and Shadow. It challenged their perceptions of wild animals, fostering a sense of coexistence and respect for nature. Children would gather to hear the tale of the wolf who chose love over instinct, and Shadow became a symbol of unity between the human world and the wild. The journey of Shadow and Elias serves as a poignant reminder of the connections that bind all living beings. An act of kindness not only saved a life but also bridged the gap between two worlds. It underscores the idea that empathy and understanding can lead to extraordinary relationships, transforming fear into trust and enmity into companionship. In the end, the lines between the wild and the tame blur, revealing that at the core, all creatures seek connection, safety, and love.